there's this humongous opportunity to be your own brand and have your own community. And there's a power in 100.
Hello and welcome back to another special episode of the Thrive State Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. B, triple board certified MD and performance and longevity expert. And today we bring a very special episode that was actually shot Thanksgiving of 2022. Now, I don't know if I told you, but I lost a very, very close friend. My friend Eric, the trainer, actually passed away on Thanksgiving of 2022. It's actually hit me really, really hard. He's one of the biggest cheerleaders I had in my life. But on that day, I got a chance to do a podcast with my friend and mentor, David Meltzer. I was at SoFi Stadium, and we got a chance to talk a little bit about the power of gratitude and the power of creating a brand. Now, why would I talk about the power of creating a brand on the Thrive State podcast, on a podcast which is about longevity, which is about peak performance, which is about wellness? Well, here's the thing. When we create a brand, if we are authentic to our brand, we actually bring intention to what we want to create in the world. And here's the thing, listeners, when we bring intention, when we place our energy and attention to our intention, what we're doing is we're showing up to the world in a different way. We're showing up with a sense of purpose. We're showing up telling the world how we want to be. And oftentimes I would probably say that many people don't operate with intention. Many people react to things that are happening around the world. The thing is, we can always choose how we choose to show up, and how we choose to show up, that energy, whether it be gratefulness, whether it be confidence, whether it be love, whether it be connection, the state that we show up in, that energetic, actually changes our biology. So by having the intention of showing up a certain way, we actually give a message to every single cell in our body, directing us either to go into the stress state or the thrive state. So we are always showing up. The question is, are we showing up consciously in the way that we want? Or are we showing up unconsciously and reacting to things? Because when we are reacting, when we're not showing up consciously, it is possible that we're showing up in the stress state. We're showing up with worry, with fear, with anxiety, with anger, with frustration. And when we do, we're also giving a message to our body. We're giving a message that we are stressed. Well, what happens then? There's an increase in inflammation in our body. There's a decrease in immunity in our body. So that's why I find it so important to share this conversation I had with David Meltzer, because it really talks about creating a brand. And when we create a brand, what we're doing is we're saying to the world, this is who I am. And whether or not you are that person yet, it gives you a vision to step into. It gives you a vision for you to be able to say, am I or am I not living as that person I set out to be? And if I'm not, can I make a choice right now to course correct that? This is the power of intention. This is the power of creating a brand. So whether or not you are out in social media, you're out in your company, you are actually creating a brand. How you show up is your brand. Would you choose to show up consciously or not? Please enjoy this conversation I had with my friend and mentor, David Meltzer.
All right, this is Dave Meltzer live from SoFi Stadium. This is the greatest stadium I've ever seen or been in, just so you know. That screen behind us as they're putting things together here for, I think it's the weekend that's coming in for the holiday weekend. It's pretty cool how they do that. But, it's interesting because you are a brand now, but you are actually a well-renowned doctor, Dr. Kien. And it's amazing how people like you and we kind of followed the traditional path. We probably listened to our parents, doctors, lawyers, failures. And now there became a celebrity status that goes along with what we do by pouring into our communities. But we're not the weekend.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to talk to you about, a world-renowned doctor like yourself in building a brand on top of building a career as a doctor?
Yeah, well, one thing is I've realized that as you create a brand, you're really creating a new version of yourself. What is the best things that you want to exemplify out there? Is it generosity? Is it playfulness? Is it confidence? Is it more generosity? We're speaking around Thanksgiving. And for me, I had a message I wanted to share, but I really wanted to just bring out the best in humanity. Was that person yet? Really, to be honest, no. But as I listed and identified the brand that I was, each and every day I get to live as that. And if I notice the older version of myself step up and say, you're not that guy, or you're not worthy, you're not enough, I get to look back to what I'm creating. And what I get to say, if you're not the weekend, if you're just somebody who is, working a regular day job, but you want to create something, first create that. And recognize you might not be that person yet, but you can constantly make moment-to-moment choices to be that brand. And you actually become that person over time and over habits.
And one of the things, I'm helping a lot of executives and professionals build brands today. And managing their expectations is part of the challenge. But I find that doctors, I have less resistance about the idea of help one person. And I think maybe in order to go through what you need to go through in order to be a doctor, you have to be able to detach your emotions from an outcome, not only in becoming a doctor, but also with this kind of save the world mentality that most doctors I know are completely fulfilled when they save one life, not every life.
Absolutely. I think once you have that one impact where you're just not thinking of yourself or your career or how much money you're going to make after an action, if you could just feel that response, that pure, genuine smile from that other person you help, oh my God, that is energy that will fuel you for so much longer. And so helping that one person, that actually does something really special to your brain. It tells your brain that you are safe. When you are safe, you can get out of that ego mode, like I got to conquer, I got to make money, I got to do all these things. It already tells you you're in a safe place. You've got more than enough, which is why you can help others.
And, we talk about finding your frequency or your essence. And through this coaching of mine, I found 3 different areas that help people to find their essence, even if they're not their essence yet, as you've described previously. So that one is, if you look at your skills, if you look at your knowledge, and then your desire, and you utilize a weighted balance between skills, knowledge, and desire, I think you can find your frequency. What are some of, if you're on this journey of finding your frequency and your essence so we can amplify it to be the next Dr. Phil or Dr. Oz, there's a whole bunch of openings coming up, by the way. So you're in a perfect time. You're in a perfect time, Dr. Vu. But as you look at your skills, knowledge, and desire, where in what skills, knowledge, and desire do you equate into or aggregate into your essence?
I think you remember your essence. When I look at my child right now, she's 2 years old. She's happy, she's doing the things that she wants to do. And I think over time, people forget their essence because they're taught by the world, you need to be this way, there's certain careers that are right for you, and you get molded into something you're not. And I think in terms of rediscovering that, it's doing the things that kind of pull you forward. And not thinking, I used to be, and this is what held me back a couple years ago, is always thinking that there might be the next right thing you need to do. When that just holds you back. When you just take a step forward into something that like pulls on you, you're either going to learn from that situation or you're going to find something about yourself. It's always a learning process. We're always evolving, even with the failures. And so I find that just taking action and then learning that, you start to say, oh, this is me. No, that wasn't me. I was just on stage, I spoke, that part felt a little inauthentic. That's not me. And you discover that essence the more and more you go. And it's not really a discovering more than a remembering process, I think. This episode of the Thrive State podcast is brought to you by the Thrive State Accelerator. The Thrive State Accelerator is actually a home course that I developed using the exact same techniques I work with my celebrity clients, CEOs, and executives on how to get them to the Thrive State. The Thrive State Accelerator teaches you how to master your 7 bioenergetic elements. That's sleep, nutrition, movement, stress and emotional mastery, relationships, our thoughts and mindset, as well as purpose. In this Thrive State Accelerator, you're also going to get a bonus module on optimization. That's how I talk about supplementation, peptides, all the optimization techniques I use with my clients to get them to the Thrive State. Now, for some of you who are just joining us for the first time, you guys might be wondering, what is the Thrive State? Well, the Thrive State is actually the energy, the epigenetic environment we give to ourselves, telling our DNA how to act and how to respond. And if we want optimal health, longevity, and peak performance, if we can master these 7 bioenergetic elements, our ability to have those 3 things that we just said, optimal health, longevity, and peak performance, is at its greatest. And it also prevents you from getting chronic symptoms like brain fog, being overweight, feeling sluggish, acne, pain, all these chronic symptoms, as well as preventing you from getting chronic disease. So getting to that Thrive State is really getting to that state to master being that very best version of yourself so you could show up for you, for your family, for your business, everything that's important to you. So go ahead, check it out right now at kienvu.com/accelerator and use coupon code podcast25 for 25% off. Now back to the podcast.
I love that. And I am working through the discoverability as a definition of attraction and allowance so that we can put the persistent side of allowing things to happen, this counterintuitive, counterproductive reconciliation of discoverability, being part and parcel to the remembrance, the recollection, and the reminding that occurs with who we are, our essence, and what we're connected to and through. Now, I deal with a lot of academics as well, especially as we get to doctors, lawyers, engineers, executives, even religious leaders. And it's very interesting because a lot of academics are judgmental and they put conditions upon a lot of things. And I was thinking about, as I'm helping you build your brand and figure this out, that it, as challenging as it was for me with the family I grew up in and the profession that I had, of people laughing at me, scoffing at me, and making fun of me, or my participation in that perception, to be a doctor. Now, my roommates in law school were doctors. I've been around in my family a lot of doctors. There's a lot of judgment, and you probably still face that as resistance to building your brand, because somehow your credibility in their eyes, or maybe your perception of it, is diminished. How much of that is my own, still stuff that I have to work through, or is it real for you that you have to deal with this discrediting of who you are and what you've attained and achieved already because you're now doing TikTok videos?
It's absolutely true and out there. I mean, I think any institution, the institution of medicine, the training of medicine, has been going on for centuries. And you jump in, and it's a very hierarchical system. You're supposed to be a certain way. I remember going through medical school, reading some of my medical school evaluations. This guy's a tiger. He's got way too much energy to be a doctor. And so you shift and you change yourself and you lose a little bit about who you are to try to fit into the mold of something else. And certainly there are people that look at what I'm doing now as what's he doing? Why is he breaking off? Why is he talking about things that are different or beyond conventional medicine? So I feel that a lot, but I also feel like the world is evolving and the world is starting to wake up and be more open to new ideas. I know colleagues now who are not in shape, are unhealthy, and they're really living that culture of stress of the modern day conventional medicine doctor, and they are asking why. So I think people are starting to understand when they see somebody with a different frequency, like a frequency that's alive, they start to go, why don't I have that in my life?
Yeah, it's so interesting. I remember in law school in New Orleans, Tulane has one of the best law schools in the country, Charity Hospital, one of the best practicing facilities as well. But they would have a lot of conventions for doctors in New Orleans. And I would always laugh as a law student. There's a place called Mother's that is not the most healthy of all foods in New Orleans. They have a debris sandwich that was like a heart attack in a bun, stuff like that. But I would laugh because there was a line when they had the American Heart Association convention. There was a line around the block of doctors in their white coats, some of them, smoking, right, and eating fried food, and it was amazing. And I'm like, where is the hypocrisy of what I've learned in my own life that put your health first, no matter what your profession is. And for me, it is health first, and then family, and then activity I get paid for. Now, community.
Yeah.
It's so important today. And one of the challenges I have is to teach people to build a community and know the power of 1, of 2, of 4, of 8, of 16, of 32. Because these numbers are so misleading that you see someone that gets 2 million views or 15 million views. And sometimes a person will get 15 million views on one video and then never get that again. And there's all these numbers going along. And I'm trying to teach people there's this humongous opportunity to be your own brand and have your own community. And there's a power in 100. Remember the movie like the 300 and the 100? There's such power in that. If you keep delivering value, for you, how are you figuring out the power of a small community and allowing that small community to someday maybe reach 14 million or even 100 million people, which still is a small portion of the entire total addressable market?
Well, that's a great question. And I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable. When I first started my Instagram account a couple years ago, I went through social media marketers and whatnot, and I wanted to grow as fast as possible. They use, probably some algorithms and some bots and things like that. It grew a lot. I mean, it was up in the 60,000s or whatever, but there was really no engagement. I started a new Instagram account 3-4 months ago, and I'm just going to say, I'm going to go as organic as possible. The people that reach you, and when you're really tapping into your true frequency, they feel that. And more people share my content now than ever before, because when you are your true authentic self and you are serving, and there's just that service heart in you, they feel that, and they will want to share that, and they'll become the true ambassadors. So, I would say that once you really kind of tap into that frequency is magnetic, and the people that tap into that, when they have that same frequency, what happens when two frequencies connect that are similar? They resonate. So that's when you get that ripple effect. So I would, say to anyone who might have smaller numbers now, it's tap into that frequency there. That is the amplitude you want, not the followers, the amplitude you want. And when you resonate from that place, you're going to start to trickle that ripple effect.
Yeah, and there's plenty of time, right? I take a 20-year approach. I did 6 years ago when I met Gary Vee and told him, my objective is 20 years from now, I'll be the most popular 70-year-old on Instagram. And he said, well, how are you going to get there? I said, 2 ambassadors. I just need 2 people a year that will get me 2 more people to listen to the podcast, read my books, hire me for stages and coaching. Just 2. And he looked at me and said, you're the first person, David, that ever gets it. Ever gets that I'm not an overnight success, that the 9 million engaged people that are in my community started with me getting 2 people to buy wine and tell another 2 people to buy wine. And that resonated with my quirky vibration or frequency of what it is. And I thought, what's a Gary Vee? I know what a Gary Vee is. And for me, the V means vibration, not Vaynerchuk, because the man's a master of vibration or frequency, and he understands how to resonate with people, how to move them and make them feel. I've actually gotten to a point yesterday, a multi-billionaire reached out to me and he said, so many people are hitting me up, Dave. He's in Austin, Texas, right? Multi-billionaire. And he said, all these people are hitting me up, all the typical real estate illusionary people that are, doing contests and bots and thumbs up likes. And he said, I just want to tell you, I wanted to do stuff with you. And I said, well, why? I said, because I lost $100 million in real estate. He goes, well, that gives you some knowledge. He said, but I have to be honest. He says, it's your frequency, your vibration. He goes, sometimes I don't even need to hear what you're saying. I just feel what you're saying. I feel your frequency. And I will tell you, one of the reasons that I choose to work with you is that you and I are on the same frequency as well. You get it. And we, everyone some more than others, we had to work past a little bit of the ego side of, that super cape stardom, the Dr. Phil side of things. But, knowing Dr. Phil, knowing Dr. Oz, knowing some of the people that have really built some huge brands, that didn't happen overnight, one. And two, they had a lot of skills, they had a lot of knowledge, and a tremendous desire, a spirit of excellence. And that's what you will contribute to the world, not just being an extraordinary doctor, but being able to heal a whole bunch of other parts that are connected to our biology, our anatomy, all the things that you've learned through your scientific exploration. Man, am I proud of you. I am so excited to see where you're going. I love to be a part of it. We're going to tour around SoFi. We're going to do a little Thanksgiving training today. Just real quick to finish up, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. Obviously, gratitude is the easiest and fastest way to change your life. 0.1 seconds it takes to say thank you, and it's free. What does Thanksgiving mean to you?
Oh, Thanksgiving is really an opportunity to recognize and be awake of the gift of life. Every single moment is truly a gift if we allow it to be. The things that we see, the things that we smell, the love that we feel, every single moment. If I look back at my life right now, everything that I thought was failure before or big hurt only made me stronger, only made me more resilient, only allowed me to love more later on. And so Thanksgiving to me really is an awakening of what a precious gift life is and this awesome thing that we get to experience for ourselves and with people that resonate with us.
I love it. Dr. Kien Vu, thank you for finding the light, the love, and the lessons in all of us. I can't wait to see what he does next. This is David Meltzer here with Entrepreneurs, the playbook at SoFi Stadium, the greatest stadium ever built. We'll see you. Happy Thanksgiving.
I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Thrive State podcast. And if this podcast is bringing a lot of value to you, if you find that your life is just improving with this podcast, that your life is getting to the next level, please consider supporting it. And here's a few ways you can do so. You can do so by liking this video and commenting on this video, and also sharing this video with your friends and family. Another thing you can do is go to ratethispodcast.com/ThriveState. Go ahead and leave us a 5-star review there. It will really, really help this show grow. And this will give me more time so that I could actually give more content to you, just like you got in this episode. And if you haven't already picked up a copy of my book, Thrive State, Your Blueprint for Optimal Health, Longevity, and Peak Performance, you can pick it up now. It became a #1 new release in longevity. Go to thrivestatebook.com. And if you enjoy the book, please consider leaving us a review as well. And the last thing you can do, if you're liking everything here and you want to work more closely with me as well as my team to get you into the Thrive State, go to kienvu.com/accelerator and consider joining the home course, the Thrive State Accelerator. It's really the course that I use. It's the concepts that I use personally when I work with CEOs, celebrities, and my high-profile clients to get them to the Thrive State. Again, the Thrive State Accelerator at kienvu.com/accelerator. And because you're a listener of this podcast, I want you to save 25% by using the coupon code podcast25. I hope we continue to give value to you. And remember always, you are your best medicine.